Hey everyone, it's Strange Michael. I hope you're doing well today. I have a review here for a movie that has been in my, not really backlog per se, but it's a movie I started and I've had for like 10 years, 11 years now. It came out in 2013, and I'm pretty sure I bought it at like a Walmart or a Kmart or something when it came out around that time. And I've kind of moved this DVD, from house to apartment to house, all of the way to here. And as many of you know, this year was my big goal of going through my backlog of movies and TV shows and trying to work through all those things, watch that stuff, and if I saw a film that didn't impress me in like the first 20 minutes, I turned it off and took it out, because it's not worth getting past that if a film is terrible. If it starts out really strong, I try to make it to the end of the film, especially for here on the horror channel, but this is one that I've been meaning to finish, because I don't think I ever finished it back when I watched it like 10 years ago, or started it, or something. It's a strange movie. It's one that may have introduced me to the concept that the title and the film is about, but I'll get to that in a moment. Anyway, this 2013 film is a low-budget horror film that I love the cover and poster and lenticular cover of, called Shadow People. Oh, you cannot see that on the camera very well. Oh my god. Okay, so that's kind of cool looking, right? This movie here is supposedly based on a true story to an extent, in the way that I think The Fourth Kind is, if you've seen that really shitty movie. The Fourth Kind terrified me when I saw it at first, back in the day, back when that first released, because I didn't know any better. I didn't know they were flat out blatantly lying to me. And I don't know for sure if this movie is doing that, because it's supposed to be reenacted footage with actors about this true event. And then supposedly by the end of the film, you're seeing a lot of footage of supposedly the real-life people. They have a memorial at the end of the film. I don't know if any of that's real, like in the sense of this actually happened or that's real footage. It may be reenactments as well. All I know is the guy that's starring in this film looks nothing like the supposedly real-life guy. No offense to his family or anything, I'm just saying. So, Shadow People. This is an idea that you hear a lot of people who suffer from sleep paralysis talk about. You wake up in the middle of the night, you can't move, and you see somebody, maybe there's one particular figure a lot of people talk about called the Hat Man. It looks like a black shadow of a person, but like it's not a shadow on a wall, it's like a person standing there. Sometimes they look like they have a hat on, which is why a lot of people call that one the Hat Man. I don't believe in ghosts, I believe in demons, so a lot of that stuff appeals to me when I hear people discuss things like this. And I think, again, this movie may have been the first one that ever brought that to my attention as a subject people were talking about on the internet, before I ever really got too heavy into the internet. I mean, I was doing book reviews and stuff, but before I became like interested in just seeing what other people think, getting into the ghost community. I've always loved stupid shows like Ghost Adventures and Ghost Hunters, because they were kind of fun campfire shows when I was growing up. I loved that kind of thing. But I had never heard of the Shadow People thing that a lot of people swear exists. I've never had sleep paralysis, and God willing, I hope I never have to, because that would be horrifying. Not because of this movie, just because of some of the things I've heard and read about from other people. Anyway, this film is basically focused around a guy who is a nighttime radio show host who talks to, weirdos calling in saying, hey, I saw this or I saw that. Do you believe in the aliens? That's what they do. It's one of those types of things. There's a lot of shows out there to this day. Not even like looking at like Alex Jones as the proper example. I'm talking about like the real like 2 a.m. when you're driving home from work types of rando shows that you can only find on the AM stations and not the FM stations. For you youngsters out there who don't know the difference between AM and FM on the radio, I'm not going to explain this to you, because I barely understand it myself. Anyway, this radio show host gets a call from a guy named Jeff who says that he sees the Shadow People, and they have to end the call at the show, and when he gets home, he happens to find a packet the next day it's signed by the guy named Jeff, who left all this weird shit with him. Pictures and scribblings and notes and stuff. When he goes to work that next night, he gets a call again from this Jeff guy, and apparently he shoots a gun on the phone call, and we don't know if it was at himself or at something else that he claims he sees in the room, but he goes to the hospital and he dies, and a lot of people suspect And again, if this is real, if this is like a real story this movie is based on, I'm not going to side one way or another. I don't believe in siding based on reenactments, you know? But a lot of people believe that this radio host and his buddy that he works with are doing this to kind of prop themselves up as a show for ratings because of the ratings being pretty low. That's a fair assessment, and frankly, it's probably real in real life, if that was the case. But people, including his ex-wife and even down to kind of his son, who he's kind of a deadbeat father towards since he works this third shift job, he doesn't live with them. Everybody around him kind of look at him as like he's kind of suspicious. And he begins to dig into this stuff after he finds out that the young man named Jeff, who had been calling the radio show, actually died in the hospital. And I like the actor who plays this radio host. His voice isn't perfect for a radio host type of thing, but his personality, the writing for him, is pretty good. I like that stuff. I like the, as sad as this is to say, the deadbeat father storyline and the way they handle that sometimes. I kind of like it. But the big problem with this movie is it's just flat out disappointing. I remember liking this and loving this way more back when I was younger and it first came out, over 10 years ago. And I remember it being actually scary. And I believe that it was the shadow people concept and idea that's what scared me, not the actual things in the movie. Because when they have scenes of literally from like the midway point on, and even from the beginning in an epilogue, in fucking Vietnam of all places, and I get why they did that because that's probably the throwback to what Freddy Krueger is based on and what Wes Craven had heard about. I'm assuming, in case you don't know that story, go look into it. I think they covered it in Never Sleep Again, the Freddy documentary thing. Very good documentary. Anyway, shadow people as a concept is very intriguing, and you have a lot of people just dying mysteriously in their sleep. Nobody's really sure what's going on. Doctors are investigating it. The cops are investigating it. A lot of people are discussing this and trying to figure out what's going on with these grown adults that are fine and healthy, just dying in their sleep. And they all seem to have died of fright, the way their faces and stuff look, which sounds goofy. It's not really done as goofy, and it probably would have improved the movie. But the problem with the movie is that it's trying its hardest to be serious, and it's trying its best to be a real dramatization of something that may or may not have happened. I like that to an extent, I respect that to an extent, but it's not what I wanted out of this movie. And to be fair, now that I've actually finally finished the film, I was able to sit through it, I was able to watch it and pay attention to it and kind of be intrigued, but it's not satisfying. The ending of it doesn't really end in this place that feels like you got an actual movie. It feels like you got the first 2/3 of a film in an hour and a half. Maybe they ran out of budget, maybe they ran out of story, if this is based on a true story. I don't know. I just know by the ending of it I was super underwhelmed, and I did not remember being like that back in the day when I did not finish the movie. And that was so long ago that I don't know what happened or why I didn't finish it. But I remember liking it. I swear to God I did. It's not a beautifully shot film. It's a low-budget film, so I'm kind of impressed with how it was shot. There's not really any music or anything to it, so there's nothing to really latch on to there. And frankly, it's not really scary. It's just kind of interesting to watch, kind of wondering where this mystery might go, what these shadow people might be in context for this movie. A lot of debate in the communities that I look at tend to discuss whether shadow people are actual people, hallucinations, conspiracy things like time travelers and aliens and all this shit. I don't really care. I think they're demonic. That's just my personal opinion as a Christian. But I was hoping the film would have delved more into that in the stupid-ass way that The Fourth Kind kind of did, because I couldn't remember if it did or did not. And it doesn't. It doesn't really get into any of that at all. It's really, really lame in a lot of ways. And this is, as much as I love, again, this lenticular cover, and I just like that look to it. It's a cool poster. Reminds me of the Slender Man movie. I think Slender Man ripped off this cover, by the way. As much as I want to like that, it's going in the Goodwill box, or the Salvation Army box, I'd prefer to say, because fuck Goodwill. So, anyway, I wanted to love this. I do not. I don't even really like it per se, and I don't really recommend it, to be honest with you. There's not really much to latch onto here, unless you just are looking for something kind of generic to watch. If you've never heard of the shadow people stuff, maybe this could intrigue you. But even the shadow people killing people scenes, they're not really scary, you know? Some of the setups don't even make sense, like why you would have your bedroom across the room from the laundry room where you could go to sleep looking at a damn washing machine every night. Why would you do that? In America, at least. A very, very strange thing. It had to have been a filming set thing, I'm convinced. But anyway, Shadow People kind of sucks, to be honest with you. It's competently made to an extent. I don't know how true to life it is, if it is true to life at all, but it's not really worth your money, your time, anything. And you're probably asking, well, Michael, why are you reviewing this at all? It's because it meant something to me and it's been in my collection for so long. I figured I might as well get some kind of review out there. There's not many reviews for this piece of shit out there, but I'm kind of bummed out about it. I wished it had been better. It is not, to be honest with you. So anyway, I don't have much more to say. I do at least appreciate the practical effects done for the Shadow People, and what I mean by that is people standing off camera, a light being shined on them, and they move their shadow, you know? That's nice, I guess. There are scenes that are really stupid, including one involving a refrigerator, so yeah. Anyway, Shadow People. Have you seen it? What do you think about it? I'd love to hear your thoughts and comments about this lame-o movie down in the comment section down below. It's one of those movies that have been with me for so long, moving around to all these houses, getting married, so on and so on. This has seen so much of history in my life that I kind of don't want to get rid of it, but I am going to get rid of it. Because when am I ever going to watch this shit again after this experience? No. I think I, again, latched onto this because of the concept. I'm pretty sure I'd never heard of it until I watched this back in the day. And I think that's the only reason I've held on to it for so long. So, I don't know what happens. You grow up, you think stuff sucks as you get older. And some films that you loved as a teenager don't age well, and some do. So, this is not one of them, is what I'm trying to get to. Anyway, by the way, there was an alternative title at one point called The Door. Apparently that was the original title. Shadow People is way better, especially for 2013 when no one was talking about this stuff. Anyway, if I had to rate Shadow People on a 5-star basis, for entertainment value, I'd give it like a 2 out of 5 stars. That's about it. It's kind of more of a 1, but I'd give it a 2, because at least it's competently shot, and it kept me intrigued as I watched it, even though I felt like nothing had happened by the end of it, so. Anyway, what did you think about the film if you sat through this piece of shit? Let me know down below. Thank you all for watching, guys. God bless you all. Catch you later, and goodbye.